anything to fire that defense up.
Well, you know, they did that play before down here, and the result was the same. It looked like somebody was going to blitz, and they said that somebody had moved on a Vineland line, probably in reaction to the blitz. On that play, it looked like the man that was blitzing got there the same time as the ball did.
Yeah,
that's what I thought the play was going to be. That the man had blitzed and he was off sides already.
1st and 15 for Vineland from the 44-yard line. And a blitz there. McConnell coming through, and he will almost, no, he almost got Rizzo, and Rizzo got back to the line of scrimmage and maybe picked up a yard. McConnell came right through there, poured through the hole, and almost tripped Rizzo up in the backfield.
Yeah, I'm sure Coach Barbos is getting a kick out of this now, because what Millville has done, they've taken the rover back, putting right behind the two inside linebackers, and one of them is going to blow it every time, and the rover back then becomes the inside linebacker.
Well, what you're going to find, too, is that Vineland is going to adjust to that, because they've been doing that all season. That's one thing that you've been saying right along. The Vineland defensive coaches are really making adjustments. They take things apart, and then in comes a change, and what worked doesn't work anymore.
2nd and 15 from the Millville 45 for the Fighting Clan.
A lot of movement out there on both sides.
Piccone fakes the handoff, wants to throw. He's going to be sacked back there. In there for Millville on the sack was number 77, Rick Wilden. And he came pouring in, and Piccone never had a chance.
You know, he didn't take much of a drop on that particular play. They're very short. He got the ball and looked up. It maybe a bit of a short, quick one, but he never had the opportunity.
Yeah, I think that was the adjustment that you were talking about, Tony, that with the three linebackers all bunched up in the middle, they just wanted to throw the ball real quick where there is no linebacker, and then he would run all the way down to the defensive halfback.
But, Bill, why are we playing this game all on this one side of the field? That whole field to play in, and a man gets tied in by the sideline.
It's 3rd down and 18 from the Millville 48. Look for Piccone to throw on this pass. No, he fakes. He wanted to throw, and he is brought down at around the 48. Looked like a lot of confusion on the play.
It sure was, and Millville just, you know, it's kind of funny, kind of interesting that they're just blowing linebackers. They don't act like they care what Vineland does. They're just going to blow linebackers.
And we are coming down near the end of the 3rd quarter, and we're still scoreless. This one's been a war. As now Scarpa gets ready to punt. And his punt is taken by Fitzpatrick, and he returns it to the 21-yard line, 22-yard line. That's where Millville will start out on their 2nd possession here. We have 2:08 to go in the 3rd quarter, and we're scoreless.
You know, this game could end up this way.
I think it could, the way they've played. Tony, you mentioned, you know, a couple times already that Vineland's got the better stats, but boy, when Millville needs a big play on defense, they keep coming up with them.
Yeah, but again, Vineland throughout the season has been a big play team, and Millville the last part of the season has been a big play team. That's what's going to have to happen, the way they're going at each other.
Millville comes out at their own 22. Number 12, Rich Grimm, the quarterback. And the handoff goes, no, he faked the handoff to Gaskins, pitches it to Allen. Allen looking for running room, and Vineland will bring him back for a loss of about 4. In there was one of the players in there was number 80, Darren Luciano.
And Steve Rizzo, 32.
I didn't notice where the rover back lined up at that time, but I'd be willing to bet the Vineland rover back lined up on that side of the field that Millville's trying to run, and as Coach Barbos says, there's just no way you can do it.
Well, you know, the left corner back over there, too, is Steve Rizzo.
Yeah, who's a good, excellent defensive football player.
Luciano on this side of the field, the tendency is to go run away from Darren.
It's 2nd down and 12 for Millville. At their own 19. Grimm to throw, rolling out towards the far side, looking to throw. He'll keep it on his own, comes upfield, and maybe he got back to the line of scrimmage. Looks like he may have lost another yard, and that's where they spotted a loss of another yard as Chris Astelli was in there on the tackle for Vineland.
You know, the offense has been going backwards for both teams. Both quarterbacks have been sacked. Piccone got sacked twice consecutively, and now got the same kind of problems happening here with Grimm. He's having trouble getting rid of the ball. Like Bill was saying, he's got to work a little quicker on that pass.
It's 3rd and 14. The receivers 11 Fitzpatrick and 87 McNear on the near side. They line up. 3rd and 14 from the 17. They keep it on the ground. The handoff goes to Gaskins. He comes forward to about the 20, and we have a flag thrown on the play.
It would appear like it would be a holding call.
Well, if it is against Millville, it's a hold, and it is against Millville. That's really going to put him back.
Yeah, and I think Vineland would probably accept that penalty and make him punt from that much deeper.
Well, this is where like I worked with Alex Koenig and Jim Schaefer, the Holy Spirit game. And Alex, every play was a crucial series. But I don't like to use that term, but I think this could be one right here. Oh, they're not going to accept the penalty. They decline the penalty, and he has to punt from here. Okay.
I would have thought they would have taken it, move him further back, especially with the inconsistency of Allen's punting this year.
Yeah,
and the high snaps.
Me a little bit.
The high snaps, too. That's the other thing.
So 4th down and 9, and Allen standing at his own 5-yard line. And back deep for Vineland at their own 47 is 32 Rizzo and 34 Rogers. Allen's kick is a high kick, but it's going to be a short kick, and it'll take a Vineland bounce as it rolls dead at about the 43-yard line of Millville. And we have reached the end of the 3rd quarter with the score Vineland nothing, Millville nothing. We'll be back with the 4th quarter in a moment. Back at Gatone Memorial Field in Vineland for the start of the 4th quarter. The Fighting Clan with great field position at the Millville 43, and the handoff goes to number 30, Tim Jones. Takes it inside the 40 to about the 39.
You know, I think it's a kind of change of pace you have to have sometimes. You're getting used to Rizzo and you're used to Rogers. Now you bring in Jones, and Jones is just a different runner, if nothing else. I'm sure Serace was geared up for Rizzo and Rogers, and well, Jones will come in and out, and especially on the wishbone. But having a different runner can make a big difference. Well, just like with Millville, not having Camper makes a difference.
It's a 2nd down and 6 from the 39. Piccone, and the handoff comes to Jones again. 35, breaking tackles inside the 30, and he's shoved out of bounds at about the 27 by Chip McNair.
Yeah, an interesting change by Vineland. Millville was using that blitzing linebackers, bringing the Rover back inside. Now Millville went back, but now Vineland has decided to go with the full house backfield, and they're just going to try to power Millville. They're not really running a wishbone, they're running a full house and just sending everybody to the one side or the other. It's just a power type of run.
You know, the cameraman might pick this up, but Bill Bonque is setting up his kicking screen or tee or whatever you want to call it, but it may be that we're going to try a field goal.
Bonque on our right down in front of us. You can see at the bottom of our screen setting up that tee. We have a timeout taken. You see some of the fans here at Gatone Memorial Field for this 120th meeting, and it has been an excellent game. A scoreless tie with 11:16 to go. If you like good defensive battles, you're getting your money's worth today. If you like high scoring, you'll just have to wait for the San Diego Chargers on Sunday.
Who says they're going to score a lot of points? Not anymore, anyway. Dan Fouts is not in there.
That's right.
You know, after Vineland lost that game to Holy Spirit, and I mentioned this earlier too, I thought they would be the best 7-2 team in the state, and of course, not in the playoffs. And of course, here I had to suppose that Vineland's going to win this game, and I think they will. But you know, I've been wrong before. My next mistake won't be my next one, and you fellas from Millville hopefully think I'm wrong, but I still think with the diversity of attack and the like, Vineland should win the ball game, and Vineland is a good ball club, but it's, you know, 2 extra points and it hurt. But then it's a shame the season has to come to where that extra point means something like that.
1st and 10 from the 27 of Millville. For the Fighting Clan, Piccone, the handoff to Rogers, fights his way inside the 25 to about the 24. And it looks like just simple power-to-head football right now for Vineland.
Yeah, and again, this is where, you know, Millville's leadership's got to take over a little bit, and somebody's got to make the big play.
Fellas, we're in the middle of the field.
Absolutely.
Yeah, perfect kicking position if Bonque comes on.
True, that's right. If it's necessary, they're in the right spot. Now watch the next play go to either side.
It's second down and 6 yards to go for Vineland at the 24 of Millville. Clock running with 10:40 and counting to go in the ball game. We're scoreless. Piccone, the handoff to Jones, coming towards the near side, fights forward to about the 21, and it'll bring up third and short yardage.
John, did you happen to see the Inquirer at McKee's column the other day about who's going to be the #1 team in South Jersey?
I saw that, and the possibilities of all the if all the dominoes fall into place, who would wind up as #1.
The thing that bothered me was the last paragraph where he was ready to concede it to Cherokee. No matter what, Cherokee's going to get it. And I think the press brought that out one day, too, where down here we can't do anything right. Everything's Pennsauken and Cherokee. Pennsauken I can buy. Cherokee, I saw them play, and they're a good ball club. But they're #1. He just concedes that before the season even starts.
We'll talk about that after this play. Third and short yardage for Vineland from the 21 of Millville. Piccone, the handoff. Rogers, no, he faked the handoff. He comes forward. The ball squirts loose. It's picked up by Jones. He's still on his feet. He's running towards the end zone and tripped up at about the 8-yard line. And a game-saving play by number 84, Scott McConnell.
But do they call that ball dead? They'll call that ball dead.
They're going to call it dead now.
That's right.
They're calling it.
Well, let's see what the play is going to be now.
And it looks like if they're blowing the play dead where Piccone went down, it's a Vineland first down at the 17. Tony, you mentioned that about the #1 ratings of the papers from out of the area. I'd say like your Inquirer and Courier Post that are more up towards the Camden, Philadelphia area. That Cherokee syndrome. It just seems like no matter what they do, they get the rating. John Parentazzi made a good point about this conference in our interview on radio on postgame and pregame. He said, you know, 2 years ago I played Pennsauken. They were #1. I scored 28 points. He said, I didn't get 28 yards against Ocean City.
That's right.
First and 10 for Vineland from the 17. Rizzo goes in motion. The pitch to Rogers towards the far side of the field. Still on his feet to the 15. Fights his way forward to about the 13 before he's shoved out of bounds.
Yeah, good defensive play by Millville. They had the people there, but more importantly, he had good blocking and good running by Rogers that time.
Yeah, he dipped inside, then went right back outside. I mean, that's talent.
Right, Rogers knows how to use his blockers, how to set the blocks up. He's a good runner.
Tony, he had over 100 yards in the first half. How's he doing in this second half?
The second half, he's got 26 yards on 5 carries.
He needed about 225 before the game to have a 1,000-yard season.
Well, let's see. Rogers had 775, right? So he has, he's going to have to have a big long run.
They're going to have a lot of penalties and have him have a length of the field run. Second down and 6 from the 13. And the handoff, no, he faked the handoff to Rogers, and Piccone is brought down back at the 15 or the 14. Big play there for Vineland. Looked like
Scott McConnell coming up in there, and it was the wishbone, and he had only faked to the fullback, and McConnell wasn't fooled, and Piccone held the ball, went down the line, and McConnell made the stop.
Well, yeah, that had to be a good play by McConnell, because that's really the first time they've done that on the wishbone. In fact, I was surprised the first half when they were throwing a lot from the wishbone. Now with Jones carrying the ball, they were doing real well on the wishbone. So it is a lot of diversity, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think that's what you'll see. You'll see the Jones coming back this way on that power sweep because they had some success over here.
We'll see if they run it towards the middle of the field on 3rd and 7. The handoff, Jones, it's loose, and it looks like Millville's recovered it. And they have at the 19-yard line.
What a break for Millville. That is a shame for Vineland. They really had a nice drive going, but the Millville's defense, I guess, deserves a break, John.
It looked like Eugene DeMorat with the recovery.
Well, that's the second time now, and Vineland was down close before, and that pass was intercepted in the end zone and by police, and now, of course, picking up this fumble over here does put a stop to that drive down the field.
Well, I'll tell you the way this one has gone, I think it fittingly should come out in the tie.
You're right.
This has just been a great game by both sides. 1st and 10 for Millville at their own 18 after a big turnover. Number 12, Grimm, the quarterback, and he hands it to 34. Gaskins comes straight ahead for about 4 or 5 to about the 24.
Yeah, good run, and that's good first down yardage for Millville. If they can get this ball out here and get a little drive of their own going now.
Time beginning to become a factor as we have 7:35 and counting to go in the ball game. And I'd have to think either side, when they get that football, they're going to keep it on the ground and hope to have a nice long drive to take away as much time as possible.
And this is where they throw a pass and fool him, right?
Right, that's correct. Second down and short yardage. They need about 3 from the 25. Grimm to Allen, comes forward to about the 27. He's shy of the first down by about a yard or two.
Well, he got only because of his size. He fell his body length, and that's what got, because he was stopped right at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it's evident he's that one step slower than Camper getting up the line of scrimmage. You can see the quarterback, straight dive play. The quarterback should never be sitting there waiting for the dive man, and Buster Allen just needs to get off the ball a little bit quicker.
It's 3rd and about 1 for Millville. And now we have an official blowing a whistle. We've got a timeout.
That's official timeout. They're going to talk to the team. It could be that maybe tempers are getting a little afraid out there. They're just talking to the fellas. Calm down. Short time to play in this ball game and relax. And well, it's easy to say.
Well, it's easy to say, but it's a good move on
right.
that part, because there's no sense in one team or the other messing up the whole game, with some crazy penalty. And I think that's a big help if things are getting to that point.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. They're just trying to talk to the fellas and calm down.
And I hope Millville does get back to the huddle so they can recheck their signals.
Now, emotion runs high in a game like this, and the momentum and the like, and Vineland Millville rivalry to 121 and all that kind. It's years and years and years, and it's great.
Third and 1 for Millville at their own 27. Grimm comes forward on his own. Looks like he's got the first down.
Yeah, I think that one thing that Vineland had picked up, it looked to me like Richie Grimm had changed the cadence there a little bit, was hoping to draw Vineland offside, but Vineland's a well-drilled and disciplined team. They didn't fall for it.
So a lot riding on Saturday's game of Bridgeton Cumberland.
Yeah, we do. Both of these schools with a Bridgeton loss Sunday, the winner here would tie for the county trophy.
Well, the thing about Cumberland, they're a great defensive team. Unfortunately, their offense doesn't seem to be too high-powered.
1st and 10. The pitch to Allen. The football is loose, and it's loose back there. It looks like Allen recovered it back at the 20. Boy, Vineland came very close to recovering that fumble.
Yeah, absolutely. That would have been Katie bar the door, I think, if Vineland had gotten that one. And the Vineland player made an excellent effort of trying to beat Allen back to the football.
Yeah, you might have noticed something fly out into the field there, and the referee threw a thing out there through one of his pieces of equipment to mark the spot where the fumble landed. Somebody's going to intercept one of those.
Clock continues to run with 5:35 and counting left in the ball game. A scoreless tie from Gateau Memorial Field in Vineland.
Keep an eye on Scott Stevens, number 10.
Millville has a 2nd down and long. Grimm wants to throw. He's rolling out towards that far side. He's going to keep it on his own, and he'll lose more yardage. Back to the 16 now. Bill and Tony, we're at a point right now where even if they don't get a first down, I'd have to think Millville's got to move the ball forward a good number of yards right now to get out of the shadow of their own end zone on a possible punt.
That's for sure. As you said before, the snaps have been high. And one of these times, somebody's going to get through there and put a block. And the punting hasn't really been that good for Millville either. They had about a 30-yard average. That 22-yard punt last time didn't help at all.
3rd down and 23. Less than 5 minutes to go in the ball game. Millville with the football at their own 17. They have to go to right around the 40-yard line. Grimm. A draw play to Gaskins, and he gained maybe a yard as Vineland was not fooled by it. And that'll bring up an important punt here with 4:30 and counting to go in the ball game.
Well, that fooled me with that play.
Yeah, that's a little bit too conservative. If Vineland's a team, they're the team to beat. Millville's got to take their chances. If they beat Vineland, that's great. In a situation like that, they should have thrown the ball and tried to get the ball out to give the punter a little better position.
Well, there you got Rizzo and Rogers back for the kick.
And they're standing right around midfield, and Buster Allen standing at about his own 2-yard line. Here's the snap. A slow snap, really. And the kick's going to be taken by Rizzo, and he fumbled it at the 50 as he had signaled, looked like for a fair catch.
Right.
But that snap, it seemed like it took forever to get back to Allen.
Yeah, I didn't notice if we got someone differently snapping this week. I never noticed our snaps on punts being quite that weak before.
Well, John, we got 3:55 to go, and if Vineland can move that ball to the field goal range, I think they'll try it.
And we'll have to see as Vineland starts out just shy of midfield at their own 49. 34 Rogers and 32 Rizzo lined up behind number 11 Piccone. Handoff, it's Rizzo, first man through, and he picks up about 5 into Millville territory to about the 45.
I think we're going to see a lot of that up the middle now.
I think we're at this point where I think Millville's going to be going for that ball. When
the whole season's right here, John.
This is what it comes down to. The loser has to hear about it all year long. Piccone, the handoff, it's Rizzo, fights his way forward, looks like he's got a first down to about the 40. They stop the clock as they spot the ball, and looks like they may...
It looks like it could be a first down. Are they going to measure that? I mean, it's lined up right with us, and it looks like a first down.
Yeah, sure it does, yeah.
Chains on. If they don't have it, it's by inches.
Yeah, that's right.
They've got it, it looks like. Yes, they do. First down, Vineland.
Right,
at the Millville 41 with 3:08 to go.
There's a good crowd here, John. I like this crowd.
A great turnout today. Perfect day for football.
After yesterday's anything.
Yeah. First and 10 from the Millville 41. Piccone wants to throw. He's dropping back, looking downfield. He's got a man open, and what a great defensive play down there by Joe Felice.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought Mays had him beat deep, and Felice just made a great athletic move. But, you know, you don't want to do that too many times. You don't want Mays to get behind you.
Well, you know, Hank was talking about Felice and his versatility, and boy, he sure has shown it, because not too many people have blocked those passes coming down to Mays. He just reached out and, well, he intercepted one and stopped 2 that cut in over the center. That would have been probably a first down for Vineland on about the 5.
I'd have to think at this point right now, after that play, if this game ends up scoreless, Felice is the player of the game for those 2 plays, those 2 touchdowns he took away.
That's right.
It's 2nd and 10 from the 41. 2:46 to go in the ball game. Rogers comes in motion. And now the snap is loose, and the ball is down at about the 43, and Millville's jumping around. It looks like they've recovered it.
Yeah, number 77, Rich Weldon, alternating in there at the middle guard position. He just mishandled the snap. He wasn't ahead or anything. The quarterback pulled away from the center and just mishandled the ball, dropped it, and Millville recovered.
Looks like he even got hit. He didn't really have his hands on it, Piccone.
No, Piccone and Greif walked off together, talking to each other, and it's just one of those breaks. Yeah, that's what this game takes, even though he gets excited.
The clock is running with 2:35 and counting to go. Now, Bill, we've seen, and Tony, we've seen Millville kind of play conservative all game. Now they've got a chance now to take this one away from Vineland, despite being outplayed statistically. Grimm drops back. He wants to throw. He's being rushed. He's going to be sacked back at the 36-yard line. In there, number 80, Darren Luciano, along with number 65 for Vineland. That's Chris Zastelli.
Sacchetti. Did you say 55 or 65?
65.
Oh, 65? Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Richie Grimm is getting a little conservative himself. He acts like he's afraid to throw the ball now, and you can't be that way. You know, put the ball up there. If they intercept and they score, that's fine. But, you know, let's try to move the ball, throw it.
I got Vineland defense a little upset because of that fumble. They want to get it back.
2nd down and 15. The clock running with 1:45 to go. A scoreless tie from Gatone Field. Grimm dropping back. He's got a little bit of time. He's being rushed. Gets away from one tackler. Still trying to get away. And he loses another 3 yards as he goes out of bounds at the 33.
I don't understand what's happening to Richie here. You know, maybe Millville should call a timeout, and maybe they should talk to Rich and say, you know, don't be afraid that you're going to make a mistake. Throw the ball. You know, that time number 11, Fitzpatrick or
I think it was
11.
Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, was standing on the sideline waving and trying desperately to get Richie Grimm to throw in the ball, but
Rich Scarpa is right on top of him. I hope they're not playing for a tie.
No, absolutely shouldn't be.
If they are, they're going backwards.
They're playing not to lose. Is that the idea? I mean, I don't think so.
Nah,
you know,
certainly shouldn't.
I don't think they are, but gee.
3rd and 19 from the 34. Grimm, the pitch to Gaskins towards the far side of the field, and he gets back maybe a yard or 2, and it's going to be 4th down. And Millville's going to have to give up the football again with 1:25 to go in the ball game, and the clock continues to run.
Well, Tony Hall, number 50, almost handed him his head that time on that tackle. What a hit.
Right, it was a great hit by number 50, Hall, but number 42, Murray, I think it is, who's really played a good defensive game. He held his ground over there, made the blocker take him, and then that allowed Hall to come up inside and make the tackle.
Right, he stayed home, and I'm getting more and more impressed with these high school kids. You see more and more of that where they stay home like they've been taught, rather than reacting to the ball and chasing it all over the place. The ones that are supposed to react. The others stay home.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been talking about that all year. We think the Millville has the best defense as far as discipline goes. They don't get themselves out of position, and I noticed Vineland plays that way too. They don't make the mistakes.
Well, so you say that because you saw Millville playing all the time. Well, I saw Vineland playing all the
absolutely.
time.
That's right. Yeah.
They did. They stay home. They know where the defensive secondary, particularly, they've had about 10 interceptions. They've done really a good job with that. And they're not that big. Scott Stevens is all over 6 foot, and he's the biggest in the secondary.
This is a perfect position right now, John. If you really wanted to live dangerously, you would fake the punt, line up in the punt formation, fake the punt. Vineland will put 9 guys up the line of scrimmage, 2 guys deep. All you have to do is throw the ball just over those 9 guys, and you'll have plenty of running room. I would go for that play.
I bet that snap better be good. I'll take a chance on a penalty here.
1:20 to go.
They've got 18 yards. They get a 15-yard penalty.
It's not an automatic first, correct?
I don't think so. Well, I'm not going to quote. I'm not sure now. Wait a minute.
We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out.
1:20 to go. Buster Allen at his own 18, and Vineland is going for the block. They have nobody back, so Bill, this would be an excellent opportunity for the fake, as you mentioned.
Depends upon what Rizzo does on this side, whether he
They too long if they don't get the ball off.
Here's the snap. Allen gets his kick away. It's bouncing towards the far side, near side of the field, and it gets a Millville roll, and it rolls dead at the Vineland 30-yard line. And with 1:09 to go, Vineland has 71 yards to go to try to break this scoreless tie.
Well, they lost the ball at the Vineland fumbled the ball at the 50. Now they're back at the 29-yard line, so they did lose some yardage on that particular exchange. This is all. Clock's running.
1 minute to go and counting. Piccone wants to throw. He fakes the throw and he hands it off, and Millville was not fooled by it at all as the handoff went to Rogers, and he gained maybe, or did he even lose yardage? He lost a couple of yards. And now we have a Vineland timeout taken with 40 seconds to go in the ball game.
Well, I don't think anybody would have expected this. When the game started, no one expected a scoreless tie. They might have expected some scoring because there are 2 teams that have really been putting points on the board. And right now, this is really something.
40 seconds left, a scoreless tie. And Vineland 72 yards away. They have the football.
I'll tell you, and Nanny and Mays and Scarpa, particularly Nanny and Mays, and I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Fisher, number 82, gets in there, because especially Mays and Nanny, and Fisher's a good receiver. Here comes Nanny's coming out, and Jones is going in. Jones hasn't caught a pass this year, but as Bill mentioned, and we've mentioned, he's quick. And I will see any kind of a play run now.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, Millville better keep their eye on Mays.
Yeah, I would like to see him drop one more linebacker back there. Just 3 deep is not enough. And when you know Vineland's going to go for the deep pass, and they got plenty of speed, and the quarterback can throw the ball. You know, what I would do is I would take Gaskins or my faster players and put them in there to help McNear with the deep receivers.
2nd down and 11.
There's no reason for those guys to be up within 2 yards of the line of scrimmage.
Ball at the 28 of Vineland. 40 seconds left in the game. Piccone dropping back. Lets it loose downfield, looking for Mays, and overthrows him at the 37. 35 seconds to go in the ball game.
You know, if you take one guy and just put him an extra 10 yards deep, it's so much easier for the guy to come forward to make an interception than to be running down with the receiver.
Yeah, that's a nice 45-yard pass.
Sure, he can throw the ball.
He's a junior.
I'm impressed with Piccone's arm. We haven't seen Vineland until today, but the stats, you always pick up the stats and you say, well, you know, he didn't have a high percentage of completions, but he has got a strong arm. He's thrown several long passes today.
Well, and you saw in the first half, too, he took a number of shots, and he keeps coming back. One time, he was really limping.
don't quite understand why Darren White should be up there and why McConnell should be up there. You know, just take one linebacker, blow him, and drop the other guys way back.
3rd down and 11. Piccone, the pitch to Rogers, running towards the near side. He's kept in bounds, brought down there by number 33, Eugene DeMorat. And it's going to be 4th down, and the clock continues to run with 23 seconds and counting. 21, 20, 19, 18. I can't believe that one of these teams won't stop it.
Well, you know, I wouldn't. They're not going to. Is he going to punt?
And now finally, I can't understand that, Bill. They let 10 seconds go on the clock.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense because, you know, maybe Vineland would have taken a chance and said, heck, well, we're not going to punt. If you stop them there, one complete pass and you're in field goal territory. So, you know, Millville finally did stop the clock, but they still have a chance to score.
12 seconds to go.
The people down here are hollering, Millville doesn't have any timeouts left, and I thought I was keeping track of them, but I don't think Millville, yeah, I thought Millville had one left. No, not that's going to make any difference. I don't know, maybe I'd go back there and the Scarpa's going to punt and don't punt. Millville's coming in. If Millville's coming in and float out a pass, it'd be the same thing as a punt. And you get up the field, maybe get that 1st down. But there's only 12 seconds. 12 seconds. Of course, a lot of things can happen in 12 seconds. Does Millville have a field goal kicker?
Buster Allen. And
okay.
Buster hasn't kicked one all year. Extra points have been an adventure.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's getting to be the case in high school football, and everybody tries to go for 2. On occasions, it seems that they do connect.
Now Fitzpatrick, number 11, will drop back as they were lining up 11 men on the line and also standing back a little bit. And Scarpa is going to punt. And Fitzpatrick will take it at the 35 for a fair catch at the 36-yard line. And there's 5 seconds left now. And I guess this is going to be it, what it's going to come down to.
Well, it's not going to be a run, is it?
It would make sense today because this game has defied.
We could have the Stanford play, you lateral to everybody,
yeah, right.
And hope that the clock will be run. The clock will be gone.
There's 5 seconds left. The ball at the 36. Grimm rolling around back there, throwing towards the far side and incomplete, and that is it. The game is over. And can you believe it? Vineland and Millville have played to a scoreless tie in this 120th meeting of these two schools, and it's been an excellent ball game. Tony and Bill, I've got to give my vote for player of the game to Joe Felice. He broke up 2 touchdowns with an interception and a deflection.
Yeah, right, and as you were saying, it was 0-0 tie, but it was a great defensive game. You know, I congratulate both teams. It really was a well-played football game. There weren't a lot of mistakes made. Mays maybe made the one mistake on the good pass that he let it get away from him, but outside that, it was 2 good high school football teams.
Vineland had the better scoring opportunities. Near the end of the first quarter, they recovered a Millville fumble at the 20, and early in the second quarter, were able to take it down to the 4-yard line. A penalty moved them back to the 9. Steve Rizzo tried a halfback pass, and the ball was intercepted by Joe Felice in the end zone. And then later on in the second half, Vineland recovered a fumble deep in Millville territory, but they fumbled the ball away, and Millville recovered. And the last really good scoring chance of the game came when Buddy Piccone aired it out, looking for Mike Mays down the sideline, and Joe Felice dove and deflected the ball away from Mays, who clearly had him beat and was wide open for a possible 6 points. So there you have it, a scoreless tie on this Thanksgiving Day between Millville and Vineland. And this is tie number 19 in this long series that is stretched back to 1895. The 120th game.
Yeah, I think offensively, you know, it was very evident that Millville missed Camper. You know, you don't have that breakaway threat. Vineland was pretty much at full speed, I think, with their offense, with Rizzo playing, Rogers playing, Jones, and the regular quarterback. I think that Millville really missed Camper, who was Millville's one shot of breaking the long run.
A scoreless tie between these two schools. We figured there'd be some points. Bill, you figured a defensive battle, but I don't think you figured a defensive shutout.
No, I didn't, but I did say, you know, that I thought that big plays would do it, and big plays almost did it. but didn't quite get into the end zone. But I expected a defensive battle because, if you look at the records, they both have really good defensive teams. And, Millville hasn't been exactly an offensive powerhouse, although they've scored a lot of points with the long runs by Gaskins and Camper. But for sustained drives, they were a big play team. And as Tony mentioned, Vineland's been a big play team. Well, if you get two big play teams against good defensive teams, there's a good chance you're not going to see much scoring.
Well, this has been a funny game, and in the booth here, we've heard people say, why didn't they run the clock out, instead of punting, because there was time to do it. And who knows, and I think this is going to be one of the football games that people are going to